House Republican lawmakers are now sharing their short-term spending proposal.
That's right. And if passed, it would keep the government funded, but only until October 31st. That comes as Congress faces the looming threat of a shutdown if an agreement isn't reached. Right now, without a stopgap measure, that would take place October 1st.
Okay, and joining us now with more on this is congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane from Capitol Hill this hour. Scott, here we are again. So what's included in this short-term spending bill and what's been left out?
Yeah, the 150 pages of this spending bill, Chanel and Errol, is basically Congress's version of a snooze button, the one we all wanted to hit this Monday morning. It pauses things, it pushes things back to a degree for a month. It is a 30-day bill to fund the government basically from October 1st through Halloween. It includes some changes, which its supporters say are critical. It's going to cut spending on several federal agencies, those that don't handle veterans or military programs, but it also includes a border security bill that's been a priority for House Republicans, including funding for more border agents, for a border wall, for enhancements, and also for plans to help deal with the migrant crisis that's hitting so many U.S. cities. That's been a priority of House Republicans for several months. They think this bill gives them the foothold to push through the border security measures. But two things are clear right now, Errol and Chanel. The folks who have sponsored this bill, who have come up with an agreement to get this thing through, know they don't have Democratic support. This will have to be a Republicans-only bill, which means it's destined for failure in the U.S. Senate. The second thing is, it's not clear they have enough Republicans yet on board to get this thing passed by the end of the week, which means a lot of this week could be squandered on internal negotiations on a bill that's not going to pass the Senate anyhow. And Errol and Chanel, we are now 12 days away from the deadline.
Yeah, Scott, everything you've just said makes me wonder, well, what was the point, right? I know that like an 8% cut to non-defense spending was suggested and included, but that's facing GOP resistance. House GOP leadership wasn't included in these chats for this proposal. Why was that? And what can you tell us about the team that did put this together?
There were two different factions of House Republicans who worked together on this one, a more moderate group who are close allies with Speaker McCarthy, and members of the House Freedom Caucus, who so often have had veto power over what the U.S. House does because the margins are so slim, and members of the Freedom Caucus have dozens of people behind them. It's the ones on the right of the screen, Congressman Donalds, Roy, and Perry, who represent the Freedom Caucus. They managed to cut a deal with the three on the left, who are more moderates in the House Republican Conference. I just spoke with Kevin McCarthy, the House Speaker, a few moments ago. He says the discussions are productive and they will continue, but time is so short. What they're arguing over is really a political messaging bill or an attempt to get leverage when the negotiations with the Senate ultimately begin. But it's not clear there's time for those negotiations to begin before some form of a government shutdown, which will impact Americans beginning October 1st.
So you mentioned this, Scott, the deal likely not to pass the Senate as is, and you've been talking to McCarthy. I mean, what can he do to get a plan that would pass?
Well, ultimately, there have to be Democratic votes to get any of this stuff passed. If there's going to be a way to keep the government lights on and doors open, some Democrats have to get on board because Democrats control the U.S. Senate. What's more, House Republicans have such a narrow margin. There are so many people who are going to bail on these deals in the Republican conference alone. There's going to have to be some outreach to Democrats, which makes a complicated political puzzle for Kevin McCarthy. If he does do outreach to Democrats, if there is a deal with Democrats, there's a possibility Republicans move on him and try to oust him as House Speaker. They still have buyer's remorse for the deal he cut with the president earlier this year to avert a debt ceiling crisis. He's already got a couple strikes against him with House Republicans. I asked Kevin McCarthy a few moments ago if he's talking to the Democratic leader. He says he always talks to the Democratic leader, but right now discussions about spending are inside the Republican conference.
All right, Scott MacFarlane, thanks for not hitting that snooze button. We always appreciate you.
Scott,
Thanks
thanks.
very much.